like that. Oh! Woo! Not sure if I hit him there. Hello fellow sim racers, and welcome to another MS2 video. Last time we did first impressions of the GT3s after their major 1.6 update by Reiza Studios. Today we're checking out the GT3s for the first time after the update to see how they drive, feel and sound. This is a 15 minutes GT3 single class race around Road Atlanta. We are in the new Lamborghini Huracan GT3 Evo 2. Let's go! Go, go, go! Starting in P10. Take it easy on the outside. Okay, get the space. I don't know if it's me too late on the brakes or they're too early. Oh, the Porsche almost lost it behind us. So the tires are still cold, as you can see, but still feels very groupy. Perhaps too grippy for cold tires, but let's see. And I'm running the IMSA preset, by the way. Now this is a 15 minutes race. Single class, only GT3s. I didn't want any GTPs. Oh, okay. No GTPs. I just wanted to see how the GT3s behave. Keep it simple. And let's see how this compares to GTPs, which I've driven a couple now, the Porsche and the Lamborghini, and after a few laps I can say this feels better in terms of the road feeling. If you remember in my previous video, one of the, not complaints, but one of the things that I think it's not entirely as it should be was this kind of feeling with the GTPs that they kind of glide over the surface of the track instead of the tire just, you know, digging in and gaining grip. Oh, almost lost it there. Okay, so yeah, so the GT3s, or at least the Lambo, I have not tested anything else, feels better without regard. This feels a lot more connected to the road, which is very nice. The force feedback. I mean, I like the GTPs. I have no complaints in terms of the force feedback, and this feels great to me as well. Perhaps even more detailed. And that's, by the way, one thing. On my previous video, there were quite a few comments with regards to the force feedback, and that you can cure that feeling of floatiness with the force feedback, but you really can't. It's not a force feedback thing, at least not for me. I actually like the MS force feedback quite a lot, MS2. Quite a lot. I think it's one of my favorites, so it feels very communicative. I know exactly what's going on with the car at all times. And at the end of the day, that's all you need from the force feedback. It's very smooth, it's not choppy, it's great. Absolutely no complaints when it comes to the force feedback. So the floatiness is something else. I don't know what it is, I cannot put my finger on it, but it is something else. But yeah, first impression of the GT3 feels great. Feels great with one exception. And just let me go through this section once again and I'll tell you. So what I'm feeling here, and it's very pronounced through these fast S's downhill, the rear, I don't know how to explain it. I mean, it's, yeah, I guess it's the floatiness again, but it's not like gliding over the surface. It feels like the front and the rear are disconnected, like two different tire compounds. I don't know, it's hard for me to explain it. But I don't like how the rear feels through there. You can see a couple more laps. By the way, the AI even at 110%. Too slow. I'm lifting and I'm getting a lot of space. Yeah, so the next video I have to try at 120. Because 110 is still too low. But yeah, so back to how the rear feels. Do you remember, for the people that have raced iRacing for a while now, do you remember a few years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, before iRacing fixed the tires, because I think we're waiting for 10 years for that to happen, but there was a particularly not great tire model a few years ago where the front and the rears felt completely disconnected. It's like the front and the rear of the car felt like different compounds. It's just, this is how I'm feeling it. It's not to the same extent because I think this feels, and obviously the force feedback being a lot better, I think it just masks some of that, but I feel the similar sensation. It's like the, oh, woo! Not sure if I hit him there. Yeah, where the front and the rear are just disconnected, and the rear just wiggles about, and just so unnatural. Way too much slip angle, and it's not a setup thing. I'm pretty sure you can fix some of it with a setup, but yeah, here this section just feels too loose, too floaty at the rear. I think the front is actually quite nice. I like it, but the rear, the only way I can describe it is it feels like it allows for too much slip angle, and at the same time the loss of traction comes really slow, and so everything kinda is like on slow motion a little bit. Okay, let's lift off. By the way, I'm running the default setup, so I don't know why we're so fast even on the straights. I guess this being the new car, maybe it's a little bit OP, but anyway. As you can see, we're gaining a lot on the straights. And the other thing is that I'm also not pushing it to its limits. And as you know, once you start pushing a particular sim to its limits with meta setups and stuff like that, this is where, you know, kind of if there is broken physics, they're pretty evident. And so if I'm feeling this by not taking it to its limits, and I don't know how it will feel if I do. Now granted, the last time I tried the GT3s, I mean, this feels a lot better, don't get me wrong. I mean, kudos to Reiza for still kind of working on it. But I just don't think it's good enough. And I think they still have work to do. Now, as I mentioned, the force feedback is amazing. The other thing, let's mention a couple of positives, because again, I don't want it to sound like, I don't want to sound too harsh, because I'm actually enjoying the 1.6. I think it's definitely a big step in the right direction. I think this Lambo sounds great. Also, I'm not sure what they've updated when it comes to the visuals, but especially the skyboxes, they look really incredible. Like here through this section, you can just see the, you know, the sun through the windshield. It looks really nice. Yeah, like here. So nice upgrade to the visuals. Very nice. And we have less than 5 minutes to go. That was oh, there's a little bit of rain. You see the raindrops? I've added like a little light shower. Now the AI is falling way too far behind, so we'll just slow down a little bit on the straight, let them catch up. But yeah, this, I don't know if it's necessarily correct in terms of physics and all the other stuff, but I can tell one thing: it is fun to drive. It's definitely fun to drive. I want to try some of the older cars as well. Feels great. It's just they still have a little bit of work to do. Let's let a couple of them by so we can have a bit of fun. It's also a good test of the AI, which they race very fairly. Again, they're perhaps too slow, but they race very cleanly. There is a lot of positives with 1.6, and I still have to try the online and LFM and all the other stuff. But me being a big fan of the GTPs, I hope that they continue to work and improve the GTPs, because that's probably the one that I would be driving if I'm driving AMS2. Okay, so what do I think about it? Again, overall, this is definitely a step in the right direction, and there are things I like more in the GT3s versus the GTPs, such as the force feedback, how connected they feel to the track surface, as well as the braking. Now, when it comes to the brakes, I think braking in cars without ABS in AMS2 certainly needs work. It's lacking a feeling, and I just think that the way you mash the pedal is far from realistic. So again, ABS probably masks some of that, but when it comes to cars without ABS, not great, and I think they need to work on that. The biggest thing that needs improving, however, is the unnatural rear end sliding, which is more pronounced in the GT3s versus the prototypes. I think the slip angle before the tires lose grip is far too big and somewhat slow, which makes it feel so unnatural and makes the front and the rear ends of the car feel a little disconnected from each other. But as I also mentioned in the video, I think the overall experience post 1.6 is really fun, and at the end of the day, this is one of the most important things and why we do sim racing. I'm looking forward to the future improvements Reiza Studios will implement into the sim. Meanwhile, thank you for watching and see you in the next one.